And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. And on our latest episode, it is the State of Pro Wrestling with John Orlando from the PVD cast. Go ahead and listen in on our thoughts on CM Punk now in the WWE, what's going on with the AEW out there for All Elite Wrestling, and more. Plus our picks for the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, if we get a chance to vote on it, and a Christmas wish for the industry of pro wrestling. So go ahead and check it out this week on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel. Plus also Inside Sports Fantasy Football. I had a great conversation on week 13 in the NFL with the guys right here for the Lakers Fast Break, along with Chris Lardieri. We also talked about the college football playoffs. And speaking of great things you need to check out, LakersBall.com. It's Joe, oh my gosh, he's pretty pissed off right now. My gosh, Ox 1947. You know he's got a lot of things he wants to get off his chest at LakersBall.com, plus here as well. Plus also, please help him out. He owns a great company. It's called Simblades. Simblades with a Y.com. Our good friends, Jamie Sweet and Laker Tom. Go ahead and join him today at Lakerholics.com. Also as well, Empire Jeff TV, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights, the great channel that's they do with John McCallion also as well, of course, and Lakers in 5, plus the Larry Lakers dribbling chit chat. Go ahead and give his ball. You know he's going to be dribbling some chit chat after this horrible mismatch. We'll talk about that as well coming up here. But also Magic Man Sean Grice. He is the man behind Magic Man. Right there for you, Magic Man with Magic Mind. MagicMind.com. Go ahead and check out what Magic Mind can do for you. If you think it can do some good for you, like it does for Magic Man, go ahead and give it a try today. Use the code Lakers20 to get 20% off your 15 or 30 bottle order today. Go ahead and support him, support the Lakers, and support Magic Mind. The Lakers Fast Break. You can support us by going ahead and hitting the subscribe button. Please subscribe today to go ahead and get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break podcast. Well, after last night, I was heading on my way after I picked up my wife from work. I had to leave here a little bit early. I headed over to Pops, which, again, I had said last year I was really upset with. I was really mad that they didn't have something that they advertised. I was really disappointed that the holiday Pops that I actually walked up was right next to the counter, the big sign, come get our holiday Pops. So I said, I want a holiday Pop. Oh, I'm sorry. We can't make that for you. I was mad then, and I let everyone know that year about it. I said, not again. But you know what I said? A year later, kind of cooled off. Maybe give them another chance. So I go ahead, go back over there. It's just down the street. Same thing. Got the big sign. Holiday Pop. Walk up. Want to get a holiday Pop for my daughter because she's been really looking forward to it. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We just don't have it. Can't do it for you. But you're advertising it. You don't have a sign that says you're out of it. 2 years in a row. Same thing, exact thing you've told me. You're the same exact person that told me this. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We just don't have it. So you know what? I walked away. Walked away and will never do business with them again. Pops, out of my life for good. And we'll just leave it at that. Doesn't matter how good your sandwiches are. If that's the way you're going to treat me as a consumer, then that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a lot of fans like that with the Lakers too, because you know what? After you ran up the score against Detroit, just 3 days after you played absolutely some horrible ball in Philadelphia, we see this team going to finish off the 4-game series or 4-game road trip against Oklahoma City. And we said to ourselves, what is this team? Is this team ultra frustrating? Is this team a good team? Is this team a bad team? Or is this a team we should just leave altogether? Well, after a performance like tonight where the Lakers were up 14 early in the first quarter, people were saying maybe we have a chance to go ahead and finish out this road trip strong. But then we went into the second quarter after we finally had a consistent lead all throughout the first quarter for once and got destroyed and dismantled by Shai-Gilgeous Alexander, who decided to put on a basketball performance. And he didn't care if Max Christie, he didn't care if D'Angelo Russell, he didn't care if Taurean Prince, he didn't care if Austin Reeves was guarding him. He absolutely made them all look stupid as they went off. Him and his fellow Oklahoma City Thunder teammates went off on a 42-23 run second quarter. Actually, it's a lot worse if you listen to from Magic Man's perspective after they went up to that 14-point lead. He was shouting out the numbers and just, my gosh, it just makes it miserable. This team is what it is. They're a barely above 500 team that's going to have severe ups and downs. And if you, as a Lakers fan, want to check on out, just like I checked out on Pops, I can't say I blame you, especially after what you saw tonight. Finishing the road trip 2-2, exactly how a 500 team is, as they lose and got killed 133-110 as Oklahoma City cruised in the second half. And here today are three great panelists that are going to tell you what you need to do with this team as far as if you're still following it at this time. But if you can't, and if you don't, or if you just want to stop by for our shows, that's great. We greatly appreciate it. We'll keep you updated because we have to do this. You don't. You have the things in your life that if you want to go ahead and do it, because this is the team we've got. It's an up and hill, down, up and down, up and down. That's all you're going to get from this team going forward, unless something changes. The big change, a lot has to change, LeBron said. Well, it hasn't changed yet. But here today to talk about it, first man up, first man here. It is the guy behind Ock1947 at LakersBall.com. It is Joe Soro. And Joe, great to have you here. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say about the Lakers. And again, as I said, this is an up and down ride, my friend. And if you don't want to be a part of it, if you just want to walk away from it, I can't say I blame you one bit.
Yeah, I would probably stop watching as much as I do if I wasn't doing the show. The Lakers can't fix a lot of this stuff. Unfortunately, there are collective bargaining agreement issues that won't allow them. They could get a couple of players that might merit a little bit of an improvement, but you can't change Darvin Ham's coaching ability, and that's going to play crucial when you start getting deep into the playoffs. We were happy to get to the Western Conference Finals last year. So happy that we didn't really point too much to the deficiencies, the scheme, and the plans against Denver. A lot of that has to do with, again, the preparation and the coaching. Coaching matters Coaching matters in the playoffs, and the deeper you get, it matters even more. And you just saw two young coaches, show Darvin Ham that he doesn't know how to coach an NBA team. And I say that because you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis on this team and some good players. This is not the Detroit Pistons. This is not the New Orleans. I mean, Charlotte Hornets. Sorry, this is actually a team that's supposed to be competing for a championship. And LeBron is despite being a 21-year vet, he's averaging 25, 7, and I believe 8. That's starting all-star material. And then AD is obviously still in his prime. So where we go from here is the Lakers are going to have to come to grips with the fact that they're not really going to get enough reinforcements to get over the hump. And then, of course, your issue with the coaching is you can address it after the season, but I don't know if you're going to be able to have enough talent to find the next good coach. The Lakers have. Other than maybe 3 instances in the history of their franchise, picked a coach from the beginning that was correct. That was the guy, and one of them was a fallback. It wasn't even them, doing homework to pick that guy, which was Pat Riley taking over Paul Westhead in 1982. So, hate to be morbid, hate to be on that tone, but the Lakers are not winning a championship this year. The only thing that could change it, where they start playing better, is if D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves become defensive stalwarts. Because Their defense is just not going to make it. And I'm still trying to figure out it's been 10 minutes since the game finished. And I've been wondering this since the second quarter. I'm trying to understand why Hood Shafino was playing in this game in the second quarter. Anybody know why Darvingham decided to play Hood Shafino in this game? This guy can't shoot. He can't dribble. He can't play defense, and he plays scared. Why would you put that guy in and set him up for failure at this time on the road? Why? Because you wanted to save minutes on a back-to-back? Look, the longer you talk about saving things, it's a Dave Roberts mentality, guys. Dave Roberts saves his best pitcher for game 4 and 5. You idiot. You need to win the first 3, though, or at least 1 or 2 of the first 3 to get to the 4. You idiot, you morons. How about win the game? How about put your best players out there? If you're worried about injuries or you're worried about holding people back at this point, then you might as well just resign and just let Phil Handy run the team, because at this point you're not really any different than Phil Handy in terms of getting things done. The Lakers cannot play against anyone that has any talent. If anyone has any talent, they're going to get smoked because they've been getting smoked all year. That's 20 games, guys. This is not the first week, first 2 weeks. This is 20 games. We are a quarter in on the season. And if Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell don't learn how to play defense between now and the end of the year, they're not going to be able to stop anybody, and there's no one off the bench that'll work. And I'm going to say it again. Guys, Jared Vanderbilt is not going to save the Lakers. And Gabe Vincent is not going to save the Lakers. Matter of fact, I don't even know if Gabe Vincent is going to come back this year, by the way. Don't be surprised if he's done for the year. So that's it, guys. We're going to be here for the next, 4 months, talking in a very somber mode, because we're going to sort of be happy when they beat bad teams. They might squeak out a couple of wins here against some good teams. But, man, when they get into a series with someone, they're going to get smoked in 4 and 5.
Once again, the Lakers Fast Break. Thanks so much for joining us. It is, of course, Joe Soro, Magic Man, Sean Grice. L. Rob is here as well, and me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching and listening. The Lakers lose 133-110 to go to 11-9 on the season as they head back home Saturday night for a matchup against Houston. Also here today, second man up, second man here, man who is just the key part of our playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break live watch coverage, along with Joe Soro. Big shout out to Laker Nick. Those guys sat through this entire mess tonight after it was second quarter, and that was a mess indeed. L. Rob, I've got a special greeting for you coming up, my friend, coming up here in just a minute. But it is the Magic Man, Sean Grice, the madman from Toronto, the guy who got out of Toronto traffic, the guy behind our taste tester for everything Magic Mind, magicmind.com. Use code Lakers20 to get 20% off your order today. Magic Man, absolutely abysmal defense in that second quarter. Absolutely. Let me say this again. Absolutely abysmal defense in that second quarter. But it all started halfway through the first quarter. Actually, that's probably 2/3 of the way through. Once the SGA got going, you could see it. You could clearly see he would own the Lakers, and it didn't take too long much after that, and he did. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, Gerald. I've just put up a net rating here, and I thought it'd be interesting just at the end of the game, kind of see where we are. If you look, Davis and LeBron are 11th in terms of net rating, Gerald. They're pocketed with Luka and Kyrie and Nikola Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. If you see at the top, who's at the top, Gerald?
That would be Mr. SGA.
It would be SGA and Chet. That's right. And they're nearly playing about a plus 12. They're almost
and Durant and
plus
Booker
15.
not too far behind.
Not too far behind. And if you look at the plus minus today, ladies and gentlemen, you see Holmgren was a plus 16 and SGA was a plus 15, Gerald. Not too far off. So, I mean, it was a good test to see how the Lakers would do against one of the best duo in the NBA, and we lost by 23. Did a decent job in the first quarter. Um, up at one point, 29-19, had a 10-point lead on the Thunder. Thunder weren't
14.
hit. Yeah, and then it increased to 14. Thunder weren't hitting any shots basically to save their life, and then all of a sudden it happened. I don't know why, but JHS came into the game, and it was like a completely different demeanor over the bench drill. I mean, JHS, Austin Reeves, Christian Wood off the bench were not very good tonight. And
Let me ask you this, Sean, and that Joe. I know Joe alluded to it too. But the Lakers only had 7 real rotation players if you want to take out JHS in that equation, plus also the rookies that were on the back end of the rotation. I know it was mentioned by Avant Trader earlier in the chat, the best Lakers chat rooms out there, Lakers Fast Break. Your thoughts, because maybe it was forced Hampson. I'm not trying to defend Ham
no,
too much on this, but it might have forced his hand just a little bit to play JHS a little sooner than he should have.
yeah, fair enough. I mean, we were dealing with the same problem in Cleveland, that we only had 7 available healthy bodies. So to his credit, if he felt that it was necessary for him to interject into the game, that's fine. I just want to say that I think it was a mistake, and if you look at the film, Gerald, uh, there was a steep decline in the way we played, and not to mention, Gerald, he's at the point now where he's staggering 3 guard lineups, like not just exclusively not playing them. He's staggering 3 guard lineups, whether it's Prince, Reeves, and D'Lo, or whether again it's JHS, D'Lo, Reeves, or combination of the 2 out of the 3. It's mind numbing, especially against a team like OKC, which has every guy from about their shooting guards to their centers can dribble, pass, shoot, do it all. Basically, Swiss Army knife, starting 5. I didn't like the move there, but again, if he thinks his hands are tied and he had to do it, so be it. Just not a fan of it.
Once again, it is the Lakers losing 133 to 110. Finish up the road trip 2-2. Magic Man Sean Grice, so great to with us as far as the playback.tv coverage. Please support him today by going over to magicman.com, going ahead and showing your love for the Lakers Fast Break and Magic Man by giving it a shot. If you think it's something that's worth your weight in gold or something that you might want to try out that might help you out, go ahead and try magicmind.com. Remember, use Lakers code Lakers20. Lakers20 is the code for 20% off your order. But also here today, a great man indeed. He is a guy that wants to go ahead and be part of our next class at Lakers History 101 as a member of the esteemed faculty of Lakers Fast Break University. He is a guy who got to see the best of the Lakers this week live in Detroit. We were watching. I asked the entire playback audience to look for you in one of those shots. We could not find you. I'm like, let's find L Rob. Let's see L Rob. Let me know, anyone, if they see L Rob. It is L Rob. Great to have you here, my friend. I wish always, I don't know how it is. It just seems like lately when you've been coming on, it's something where they just, you were here the night that they got robbed in Boston. You're here tonight when they didn't get robbed. They just got outplayed after the second quarter.
Well, it's good to be here. So I'm going to go a little more positive than Joe. Surprise, surprise, and Magic Man. But so if you were looking for me, my seats are. So I share Pistons season tickets with some of my siblings. So I go up to about, I don't know, maybe 10, 11 games a year. So, but my seats are like in the second row on the baseline across from the Pistons bench. So usually where the refs go out when they're exiting halftime or at the end of the game, if they happen to have a shot over there, then you might happen to see me.
I'll try to remember that,
But,
my friend.
if you want sad, if you want depressing, if you want bad basketball, trust me, go sit through some of the Pistons games. I mean, Monty Williams is getting paid a lot of money, and that team is very disjointed, disinterested, and it's tough to watch those games. But I digress. So, what would you have Coach Ham to do today when you're without Rui? You're without
Cam Reddish.
Cam Reddish. Why did he play yesterday? I have no idea if he couldn't go today. I mean, maybe he re-aggravated something, but if it was that borderline, then I would have held him out another day to a game when you're actually going to need his perimeter defense. But I mean, you're without five of your rotation guys, 5 of your top 10 players. You're playing against a young Oklahoma team. As Sean mentioned, all of those guys are dribble drive type of players. They're going to attack the rack. They just had too much energy for the Lakers. The Lakers cannot win that type of game being that shorthanded unless all of those guys play great. Austin Reeves did not. D'Lo did not. And LeBron kind of coasted into the game too. He didn't really come out trying to be very aggressive in the game. He didn't need to. The Lakers were playing good and they were winning pretty comfortably. Look, here's the deal. Until the Lakers get somewhat of a semblance of their guys they're expecting to play, who they were counting on to play, you are not going to see a team that has any chance to compete for anything substantial. But I don't know that without seeing Vandy. I don't know that without seeing Gabe. I mean, those are 2 vital defensive players for the Lakers. And without those 2 guys, I mean, those are guys who are kind of energy, defensive guys. We don't have anybody playing like that. We got offensive guys playing in Reeves and D'Lo. And Prince is what he is. I mean, he's pretty robotic, a stiff player. He's not very athletic. So without Rui, without Gabe, without Vandy, without Reddish, I mean, we don't have any athleticism really. And you're going up against a young team like OKC. You should have been more competitive, but to try to pull that game out, it would have took a great effort on a second back-to-back from LeBron, AD. Would have took D'Lo to play like he played yesterday, and the Lakers just didn't have it. So you chalk that up to injuries, scheduling more than anything else. I'm not, going to trip on that game tonight.
But I ask you this, Rob, and I'll hit it over to Joe here in a second. We've said this before. The last time around, they had a back-to-back. Oh wait, they said it the last time before they had a back-to-back too. This is getting to be like a broken record where they come out strong against the terrible teams on the front end of the back-to-back. And anytime they have any decent competition on the second of the back-to-back, it's not even close.
What type of roster did they take into the second game of the back-to-back last time? I can't recall.
Well, they've had injuries throughout. I mean, Vando's been out the entire season. I mean, if depending on how you view Jared Vanderbilt, how key of a position he is for this team, I'll leave that up to your discretion.
I was told he was pretty key when he joined the Lakers last year. Him and Rui joined the Lakers last year, and they started playing much better. Correct?
It depends on the situation. He's a situational defender.
No, I'm saying if the team start playing better once they get
the team start playing better when all the movements were made.
Okay,
but then again, we saw in the playoffs he can be played off the court in the right circumstances.
Okay, that's true. But
so he's a positional player. He's not a star for this. He doesn't instantly move the needle. He, in the right terms, under the right context, can make your team better. But also in the right context, he can also just be another guy on the roster.
Yeah, but to playing them off the court, you're talking about a playoff series where you can make chess moves and go back and forth and all that. In a regular season, one night game, hey, we need somebody to hound Ja Morant. We need somebody to hound SGA. We need somebody to hound Luka. We need somebody to hound these guys. We don't have anybody. These guys are comfortable from the jump ball. We don't have one defender that can. our guys weren't in it. I mean, who was in anybody in OKC's jersey?
No one.
Who was in anyone's jersey? LeBron's catching it. He's got guys hanging all over him. AD's catching it. He's got guys hanging all over him.
True.
Those guys are very, very comfortable. We don't have anybody like Gabe will get in people's jersey. Vandy will get in people's jersey. We missing some of that. So it's hard for me to evaluate it without those type of guys playing. And if Joe is right and Gabe's not going to play the rest of the year, yeah, that doesn't bode well. Because D'Lo's going to be a turnstile, and Reeves is going to give effort, but he's just not that good of a defender. So yeah, if that's going to be our defenders on the perimeter, we're going to be in trouble because they're going to get beat off the dribble. They're going to be going to the rack. They're going to cause other guys to have to collapse. We're going to give up offensive rebounds and rinse and repeat.
Joe, I mean, you could look at it in a way as far as, several players out. Again, it's all how you perceive the guys that are out right now. Yes, Vanderbilt would have guarded SGA quite a bit. Reddish would have helped out with that as well. Let's not beat around the bush, but it just, when we get those guys back, are they making that big of a difference for the Lakers?
No. You're talking about the current core. Let's look at those guys. You're looking at LeBron, who's making $47 million. You have AD, who's making $40 million. You have D'Angelo Russell's making 17. Then you have Rui. Then you have Reeves, 15 and 12. And then it starts to get to 10, 4, and then the rest are all pretty much minimum to a little bit over minimum. Your mainstays are your top 6 guys, I should say, your top 5, really. They've been available, and whether they've been injured or played, let's say Rui, I'll use Rui as an example. Rui is nothing changes on the end of a back-to-back or against good teams if Rui's in there. Vanderbilt will help on defense, but the Lakers also don't make shots. And tonight was another good example of not being able to hit open shots and OKC hitting open shots. That lead dissipated from a combination of the Lakers missing shots and allowing shots to go in. They played unbelievably for a quarter. As a matter of fact, it was more like 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes. Because
once SGA started to turn it up, that's when.
Yeah, and then here's where the frustration starts. You can see that your team is reeling at the end of the first, and what do you do in terms of adjustments? You put Jalen Hood-Schifino in to start the second quarter. I don't care what's going on at that point. That tells me everything I need to know about how well you coach. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm looking at the TV. I'm going, what the hell is he doing in there? That's the first instinct. Usually your first instinct is the correct one. Almost every single time in anybody's life, your first instinct, no one knows you better than you. And a lot of times when you've been conditioned in life, and you're conditioned in all the things that you've seen and dealt with, that feeling is 99%. Oh, and then what happens is what makes it go away is trying not to cause problems, trying to be positive, trying to be a good guy in an area maybe that you're not familiar with. Like that all then starts to take over. And then that first instinct kind of slowly goes away. The answer was there the moment you saw it. So I saw Hood-Schifino in there. The first thought I had was, oh, shit. And then we saw what happened after that.
Okay.
You tell me what coherent, prepared coach makes that move and why. So let's say I get a meeting credential for probably the 15 seconds I'd have it before they take it away from me. Coach Ham, may I ask why you put in Jalen Hood-Schifino in the beginning of the second quarter? I'm kind of curious on what he would say. Oh, we want to give this guy a shot. Oh, we have injuries. We have this, we have that. Okay. He's like your 10th best player. Don't you think you could use somebody else? You have a 7-man rotation without him that you could have used. Why did you put this poor kid who's already got zero confidence, who is overwhelmed by the NBA game? I'm not going to say he's not going to become something. That's not fair right now. But this is the LA Lakers trying to win a championship in the last years of LeBron James. And we don't have time to babysit. So right there, you don't know what the F you're doing, Darvin Ham. That right there is enough proof. If you need proof, we can't have any more proof than that. Why? I don't care if half the team is out. You go with the starting 5 and you roll the game through. Otherwise, you might as well just sit Anthony Davis and LeBron at the beginning. If you're already going to concede or try to work things out, because all this did was ruin a kid's confidence and destroy a team that played really well for 10 minutes, and you made it worse by setting them up to lose. And this is not the first time. This is 20 games in. 20 games in. Those 9 losses to good teams, almost every one of those losses have been almost blowouts. When we were competing against the good teams and losing in, let's say, 2020, they were playing. They were competing. We were like, damn it. We need to beat the Clippers. But, man, we just kind of couldn't finish it off. And it was like that against them or a Denver or a Boston. And then all of a sudden it changed after about 3 months. They started beating those teams. That's fine, guys. Again, I'm not a complete heartless prick. I have common sense. If you're going to play competitive basketball, I'm going to buy it a little bit that there might be something positive. But when you quit indirectly because your coach isn't putting you in a position to win, how are we going to be positive and say this thing's going to change in February when everyone is more tired, LeBron James, AD, and guys that have been playing for 4 months like dog shit? How are they? What, they're going to just snap back and go, oh, we don't live in that world anymore, by the way. We don't live in a world where young guys all of a sudden start playing better around crap. It just doesn't work like that. So it is, man, we're going to be doing this for another 60 games. This is going to be very, very tiring. I have not watched our shows the last few weeks because I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again. And I already couldn't listen to myself talk. It's very hard for me to listen to myself talk. But right now, it's very difficult to not continue to Groundhog Day every single game. It's because it's the same damn game. They whoop the 2-40 teams, and then they get whooped by anybody that has any talent. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
It's just an up and down team. That's all they are.
There is no up and down.
They're
Up
just
and
a
down.
500
Up and
team.
down means okay. Well, they beat Oklahoma City today. 2 days later, they get beat by Phoenix, and then 3 days later, they beat the Nuggets. Then they get killed by the Clippers. That's up and down. What this is they suck against talent, and they're really good against non-talent, and that will get us nowhere.
So explain their victory against Phoenix.
Were they good at the time?
They were getting
Devin
better.
Booker wasn't playing.
Booker wasn't playing. But then you said Booker was an MVP candidate.
Well, that you can still say that he's not an MVP candidate in my book and still say that he's a positive for his team.
Okay.
You're talking about MVP. Again, my definition of MVPs might be different. It's different than all of you. Half the people that have gone into the Hall of Fame in basketball and the NFL the last 5-6 years, I'm like, what the hell happened to the Hall of Fame?
Well, that I think all of us can agree on.
So
we can't agree what they
you want to
choose.
get into a discussion about the MVP, I can get even worse in terms of negativity because that award has been washed so badly. You might as well give them an Oscar now because they've destroyed the Oscar for years. The MVP in the NBA has been worthless to me. Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal won one mother effing MVP. Those guys were more valuable, not only to their teams, but to the NBA than anyone would be the last 20 years. So explain to me how the hell that works. So to say that Devin Booker is an MVP, come on, give me a break. No. Jokic is an MVP.
I disagree with you, but go ahead,
Gerald,
Magic Man, my friend.
Yeah, Gerald, to be fair, of the 9 losses this year, only 3 have been quality.
Okay.
Losing to the Mavericks, losing to the Kings, losing to the Heat. Those are the only 3 losses where they really showed up.
Okay. So what were your thoughts on tonight when you saw them, as far as SGA, once he started turning up, you could see the tide shifting, and it just seemed like the Lakers never got it back.
No, and look, it's not as if that engine requires SGA and Chet to be, at optimum 100% for both the horsepower and the torque. Gerald, they can rely on Jalen Williams. If they need a 3, Gerald, they can always rely on Isaiah Joe. I mean, they have depth, quality depth from shooters, shot creators, rebounders. I mean, I really struggled with AD's effort in the second half, Gerald. This is somebody who finished with 31 and 14, yet he was minus 12. So that means while he was on the floor, the Lakers gave up 43 points. 43 points more than. So it wasn't a good effort by him. He won early on. He established low post play, Gerald, and he got Chet Holmgren in foul trouble. But Gerald, what the funny thing about Ham and noticing other opponents in foul trouble is that he really doesn't, and it's a problem. That everybody should have known. Okay, so Holmgren picked up 2 quick fouls. There was another 2 quick fouls picked up, and then Christian Wood went to the free throw line with, I believe, 3:44 left in the first quarter. Lakers didn't attempt a single free throw after that. And in the second half, it looked like Chet Holmgren is only in his rookie year, Gerald. But it looked like for some reason he got coached up big time at halftime because he looked like a completely different player playing against Anthony Davis in the second half. It must have been something because AD took the second half off. I don't like saying that because he's one of my favorite players to watch. A dynamic defensive virtuoso at times, but a couple of games here, Gerald, very, very, very concerning that he's just half-assing it. And and when LeBron talks about a lot to clean up, I think he's seeing more than what meets the eye, than even what we're seeing.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. The Lakers do unfortunately lose 133-110. Truly appreciate you joining us. Best Lakers chat rooms out there is right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Even though they don't always
Gerald,
even though they don't always agree with each other or with our panelists. But go ahead, Magic Man.
Yeah, Darren, I understand what you're saying, but obviously watch the 3 previous games. He played against Philly. He played against Minnesota. Rudy Gobert and Joel Embiid both gave Chet problems throughout the entire game. It wasn't just one half. He didn't figure it out against them. I think the big thing with Anthony is the will, Gerald. It's the will. It's not the skill. It's the will. Motivationally, he is a sound player, but it's either sunrise, sunset with his motivation, whether or not he wants to continually bring it. It's frustrating.
Very frustrating.
It's frustrating.
I'll tell you, my friend, though, I do appreciate everyone being a part of what we're doing here tonight. It is the Lakers Fast Break. Rob, so I ask you this. When Vando comes back, which I've been told is imminent, Doobie, unfortunately, actually, it was really hard. No, actually, it was Dante. Dante has actually had him coming back this week. Does not look like that's going to be the case. Looks like it's going to be soon after. I guess from what I heard also as well, the reports are that Rui Hashimura has been fitted with a mask and that he's also very close to returning. Cam Reddish is probably on a day-to-day basis, so he could be coming back here anytime soon. So when this team gets all the players back that they need to get back, Gabe Vincent aside, because I think that's like Joe, I think we're looking at him to come back in 2024, not 2023. Your thoughts, my friend, on how good this Lakers team can be?
Well, clearly, Denver is the class of the West and the league. You have a Boston team that's extremely talented, well connected, been playing together forever. They're core guys. I mean, the Lakers aren't in their class. Anybody else? Let's throw the ball up and let's go.
Okay.
Anybody else? That Philadelphia team. Who do we have check in Maxey? Refresh my memory.
That was Max. That was Maxey, and that was Christie. That was Christie and Prince.
This is how bad this and Torian Prince. I mean, he's slow. He can't move. I mean, let's be serious.
It's bad, Rob.
We are depending on Max Christie, a guy who wasn't supposed to really get. I mean, he was supposed to get minutes in case of emergency this year.
Stone Hansen called him during playback not an NBA player.
We are depending on him to check the other team's best player in 2 straight games, their best perimeter player. And in SGA, one of the best players in the league. I mean, come on. But and we want to blame Darvin Ham. We really don't have any other options at this point. Me seeing JHS in the game, I'm counting on the other guys. Hey, we throwing this guy in there. Can you please pick him up? Christian Wood, can you please make a layup? Can you make a positive impact to help the rookie out? You've been in the league for 8 years. Come on. Reeves, you just got your bag. Can you help this rookie out? No, you're bricking threes, getting blow-bys, getting abused. Those are the guys that's out there on the court with JHS. I mean, come on, help him out. He has to play minutes in this type of game. He has to. I'm sorry. He has to. You're not going to stick your main guys out there and play them 40 minutes and run them into the ground and they get hurt, then we're really taking shots at Ham.
On a back-to-back?
The kid played a decent game last night. He made some shots for a change. He probably said, hey, let's stick him out there. OKC has got a young team. What's his name? The rookie they threw out there, got out there, hit a couple shots. He played okay. I guess Ham was hoping his guy could do the same. Sean, the Lakers did have one other quality loss you didn't count against Sacramento. I think that was the OT loss, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, I did count that one, Lee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I counted that
3.
one. I said 3. Yeah, I counted that one.
Okay. So the ceiling, they can beat any of those teams. They can beat Phoenix. They can beat everybody else in the West. OKC team. Do you think this OKC team, I mean, could beat the Lakers in a playoff series? I can't see it. I can't see this team beating us 4 games if we got Rui, if we got Vando back, if we got those guys playing. It's not going to happen.
I still think Max Christie can be a player, but like SC for Life mentioned, I mentioned this the other day, Sean, and L. Rob, he might develop somewhere else because remember, he is a free agent coming up this summer because of the wonderful contract Rob Pelinka signed to him.
You know I'm rooting for Max. He's a Spartan, so of course I'm rooting for him, but he's just not ready for that role. When they're throwing him in there and he's the 5th guy and he gets a few open shots, yes, that's good. When coming off the bench for a minute here or there, that's good. But when he's got to play big minutes against some of the best players in the league, a guy Maxey who's just dropped 50, and Joel Embiid is setting these picks, and he's got to scoot around them, navigate around them, and SGA is giving them ins and outs and ups and downs and allowed to double dribble half the time. I mean, come on.
You know what was really interesting to me, Lee, is that I thought positionally Max was doing pretty good tonight. And Williams and SGA both desperately wanted to get him off SGA so they could put him on either Torian or Austin.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that was frustrating because no one, like you said, communicate with Max. Let him know, they might be trying to ice you or get around you. So get a step up for lip, like
yeah.
that front
Max
hip.
he
That
was
front
very
hip, Gerald.
fundamental.
You use that.
Yeah,
You have to use that.
he's going to be in the right place. I mean, he's a smart player. He's pretty fundamental. He's going to be in the right place at the right time. But
Yeah, and
he's not strong enough,
he's
and the
not.
refs are not
No.
going to give him the benefit of the doubt on those kinds. The Lakers don't. I mean, the other defenders are so bad. When
He is.
OKC has a situation, they just switch it.
I know Christian Wood is
But
so bad at
we
defending the
can't
pick
switch
and
that.
roll.
We can't. I mean, when we switch that and let them go against any of these other guys, it's like barbecue chicken. The rest of our
Well,
defense.
that's why Magic Man was so standoffish about the acquisition of Christian Wood, and I was just like, I was neither here nor there because of the fact I had seen Christian Wood and actually seen him play since UNLV, and I knew this is what you get. You get some guy that at 6'10" can rebound for you at times. Sometimes he cannot. Most of the time he can't defend, but he can hit some 3-pointers for you. That's what you get. That's what you got. And when he's not hitting 3-pointers, he's actually going to be not a whole lot of usefulness for you out there. I'm not going to say he's useless, but he's not going to be a whole bag of whatever it is that you're looking for when it comes when he's out there. L. Rob, before I get back to Joe on this, I mean, I think everybody's asking, as far as, or they're putting a lot of pressure on Ham for the way he's coaching this team so far this season. I understand the injuries in play, and you have to keep that in mind. I understand that, but what are your thoughts? I think there's still a lot of improvement
Yeah.
that Coach Ham has to make when all these guys get healthy, because right now, what I've seen so far through 20 games is not good on the coaching front. Bad habits from the guys are being taught from bad habits from the coaching staff.
Yeah, my biggest beef with Ham is his use of Anthony Davis. I do not like Anthony Davis 90% of the game out setting picks. I mean, to me, it creates that mindset of being lazy. You just floating out, setting picks at the 3-point line. No, I think he's had his most effective games when he's got the ball more in the box, caught it, and even if he wasn't making shots, it creates an energy of being aggressive. So I would prefer him playing like that, but his coach got him setting screens, rescreen, go out and get this guy. And it's like, come on, man. This dude can score in the paint. You see that changed the OKC's whole. I mean, after the first quarter, it was like, we're going to swarm this guy. We're going to, yeah, they're little dudes, but they're rotating fast, and they got 2 and 3 guys collapsing down in there. And at that point, it's up to the other guys to, make plays, and they weren't. AD did what he should do, but I mean, AD is what he is. To me, the most disappointing part about his game today was no blocks. There was enough guys in there. Those guys drove to the basket, and he didn't. His presence wasn't really felt defensively, and I think that's where I get frustrated with the criticism of Davis. To me, he is a defensive player first. That is his biggest value. Protect the yard, be a deterrent around the basket. And if you can give us 20 points, that's great. If you only give us 15, but you really make your presence felt defensively, then I'm happy. But don't go out and drop 30 like you did today and have no presence on defense. I mean, like Chet Holmgren went and he switched it with the left. That was a perfect one for him to just glass that. AD, what are you doing? Looking at him cross you over and lay it with the left. It's like, yeah. So to me, that's the most frustrating part about Ham is his usage of Anthony Davis on the offensive end, and his. I was just still, when he made the Wilt comparison, if he's talking about Wilt with the Lakers when he concentrated on rebounding and defense and scored some, when he wanted to, then yes, be that type of player. But no, we don't want you taking 5 threes a game or whatever the crazy stuff that Ham said at the beginning of the season. That creates the wrong mindset. Davis that he needs to know, hey, get in that paint and do some work. Yes, we know you don't like to bang that much, but half the guys in the NBA you're not banging with anyway. So
once again, it is the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do lose 133-110. Joe, against the most of the audience is siding as far as with where you're at as far as mentally on the Lakers at this point, heading home for a 2-set against Houston, and then the quarterfinal matchup on Tuesday against the Phoenix Suns. I said this to you before the 4-game set that they just took place on the road, and you gave me an answer. So I'm asking again, do you see anything out of if they win against Houston, a decent team this year? Finally, we could say that after many years, and Phoenix, who may or may not have Devin Booker in the lineup because he's kind of day to day with that ankle. So let me know your thoughts. Will you make anything of it if they do go 2-0?
No.
Okay.
This tournament is absolutely insignificant. This is for the NBA trying to figure out maybe better ways for people to bet on this.
Because our audience hasn't given one iota to it. They really don't care.
The biggest thing that has come with this is the fact that it's hurt people's eyes, the courts. That's it. That's all I've gotten. We're about Larry O'Brien trophies, not mid-season trophies or whatever the hell that is. Obviously, if they win it, cool, but it will mean as much to me as the team that wins the Alamo Bowl. Alamo, the rental car place, not the Alamo in San Antonio. I've had that question for college football fans for years. No one's been able to answer me that question. I've said, listen, can you explain something to me? Are you excited and do you brag about winning the grandfurniture.com bowl?
I'll say this.
Joe, we want the kids to have, to win in the end. It's, it's a way to finish the season. And I'm just sitting there going, what did Ricky Bobby say?
If you ain't first, you're last.
The dumbest guy ever had the greatest line ever when it came to winning.
Yeah, Zangerstein, Joe knows.
I was on another page, but when I heard Joe say that, I knew he was expecting it.
We know the only game that wouldn't count in the standings is the finals. We know that, Zangerstein. Yeah, we know.
And that only adds to the more the idiocy of this whole thing. Is the stats in the championship game the most important part of this particular tournament?
Just disappear.
Doesn't matter. It's so stupid. You want more people to watch NBA basketball. Maybe if your league didn't look like they just came out of some kind of nightclub with sweats on and a beanie, maybe that would help. Maybe if guys played every game and actually had, some kind of image that people wanted to watch game in and game out, maybe that might help. Because I remember distinctively Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki. I can name more, but these guys embodied Dallas, San Antonio, LA, Chicago. People went to these games in January because, man, I want to see these guys play. And now they don't play. Now Devin Booker is an MVP candidate for what? Because he made a fall-away 3 against the Knicks? Where do you pull this stuff out of your ass? MVP. An MVP shows up. An MVP wins big games. An MVP is always there. Now, whatever they call an MVP now, somebody who whines enough to get one, Joel Embiid. Then you have Jokic, worthy MVP, but yet you have certain pundits out there that say, well, he's probably getting the votes because, Okay, dude. And then what's left? We have Anthony Davis. We have LeBron James, who for a while there, were 1 and 2 in terms of best talent in the league. Anybody argue against that? Could you legitimately say that Anthony Davis and LeBron James could have been 1 and 2 in terms of talent? I could have said that. Hell, they even won a championship together doing that. But we've gone past that at this point. The league has turned into a very athletic, very shot-making league. I mean, very. If you don't make shots, you have no shot. And the Lakers are the worst shooting team in the NBA. And they don't know how to play defense. And they're not healthy. And they have a bad coach. So maybe we should be looking at this from a positive standpoint. The fact that they're actually in the higher part of the 500 number and have all those deficiencies, maybe I'm overreacting here now that I think about it. 11-9, having no shooters, no defense, no health, and a bad coach, and we're still 11-9. I'm turning over a new Ryan Leaf. How about that?
Watch out for the drugs.
I don't do drugs.
Ryan Leaf didn't.
That's
said
what
he
new
says
Ryan
anyways,
Leaf.
until
Stay with me here, man. The new Ryan Leaf doesn't do drugs.
Okay, if you believe that, all right. Do you really believe he's not? Do you really believe that he's totally clean?
It's not my business to know.
Again,
it's not my business to know. He looks like he's recovered. He's doing TV.
Good for him.
Sounds pretty damn well.
Hey, Gerald, Ryan Leaf is in a better position than
I hope so.
Than one Robert Swift.
Oh, yeah, well,
who likely would have been a better example for Joe to use.
Well, I wanted to use the pun. I thought that was
pretty
over
good.
New Ryan Leaf. Yeah. I still think the college football playoffs would be better if they utilize the bowl system in its
think college football
since they don't want to get rid of those bowls. Since they don't want to get rid of them.
Look, just so you know, I'm not a heartless prick all the time. Look, college football has done right this year. They have done fantastic. If they get an 8-game playoff, college football has everything at that point. College football, from the game to the excitement before and after, they've got that sucker down. Down.
Still should utilize the bowl system instead of having those crappy 6-6 teams.
So, Gerald, just before we talk about the great news that we got today about Bronny James, the Lakers, Darvin Ham, and LeBron James, I'm sure you were perusing the social medias as I was. They're still pounding the table about we don't know who we are yet because we haven't had our group together. LeBron said it himself. I don't know who we are. I know what some of us are individually, but as a team, I don't know. That's an honest assessment.
You know what? It is what it is, man. Because it just, at this point, for me, it's an up and down roller coaster, and it will continue to be as such. Whether they beat the bad teams and lose to the good teams continuously, that's not going to always work out. But Rob, again, I do appreciate you stopping by as always. It's great having you here. One of our longtime members of the Lakers Fast Break. I know some of our newer audience members are really like, "Who is this guy? Who is this guy?" You know what? He's a guy that's been a very great part of what we've done here for many years, Rob, and I cannot thank you enough as always for stopping by. But Magic Man, you had something?
Yes. Max Christie played 21 minutes, 4 personal fouls, -2. Jalen Hood-Schifino, 19 minutes, 3 personal fouls, -15.
How many of his minutes were with Anthony Davis and LeBron?
Wow. That's a good question, Lee. I'll find that out for you.
You're going to get Rodell praising you in an email there, Sean. That's all I'm saying. He is the head cheerleader for the Max Christie fan club.
Well,
but while you're looking that up, Rob, can I ask you this though? You know, do you see when this team gets better? I mean, Doobie says we're a top 3 team in the West when we get everybody together, but it's the issue of Darvin Ham. As the team has to improve, do you see the possibility of having the same like Groundhog Day again, where the Lakers have to work constantly uphill, but do get up that hill almost all the way and then just fall back down at the end.
The only thing I can go by is history. Darvin Ham was the coach last year. The Lakers made it. They were the second best team in the West at the end of the season. So I don't see any reason he didn't hinder him then. I don't think he's a worse coach than he was at that time last year. So either the rest of the West will have to have gotten a lot better, or the Lakers would have had to not improve. But no, I don't think Darvin Ham is going to be the reason this team doesn't achieve whatever its goals are.
Okay, that's fair. Joe, do you feel differently? It sounds like you do.
Oh yeah, he's a worse coach than he was last year. They hit a stride, and they played two teams in the playoffs that had a lot of turmoil off the court and in the locker room. The second they played a team that was stone cold killer mentality, they got scorched. And you have to also understand that professional sports coaching and playing, they adjust to your plan. So now they've had a year to look at how Darvin Ham's adjustments are, his rotations, his decision making, and now you're screwed even more now. And he doesn't seem to do the same to his opponents. He has not really done anything to adjust to anything this year. And if you're gonna use Jared Vanderbilt and Gabe Vincent as your excuse on why you're not playing well, I already heard this a few years back. Those guys are not going to make that much of a difference. Not 23-point blowouts. You want to say 12-point blowout? Okay, they might make a 9-point difference in a blowout, but those guys aren't winning tonight. You put Vanderbilt in this game tonight and Gabe Vincent, that's not going to matter because they're not. Vanderbilt, I watched Vanderbilt play last year. He was phenomenal for a good stretch there. But the second he missed layups and missed shots badly, you could see his face sink. And those things can't happen. You need somebody who's confident, who can have a short memory. Jared Vanderbilt is not that guy. Gabe Vincent is not likely going to come back. Another Miami trash player. Stop signing guys from Miami, please, LA. I'm not about the Miami culture. You want Miami culture? Go move to motherfreaking Miami. We're in LA here. I don't need to hear about Miami culture. Miami culture hasn't won dick, okay? Hasn't won dick since LeBron was there. So spare me the Miami culture. It's the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference sucks, and they've sucked for 25 years. So don't insult my intelligence about that conference. So if Vanderbilt and let's say Rui, when Rui has been in there and healthy, by the way, I don't know.
I'm playing more than 17 minutes a game.
And playing more than 17 minutes. So let's talk about that for a second. Let's say Rui is important. Is he going to get 30 minutes? Or will Darvin Ham continue to suck the life out of that 3-guard lineup that he just is obsessed with? Where 2.5 of those 3 guards couldn't play defense at the local EOS fitness club here in my house. We've seen all 20 games, folks. We're not blind. We've seen preseason. We've seen a lot of games already. What's going to change? Enthusiasm? You want me to get my bat out about enthusiasm?
Enthusiasm.
We got to have a little more enthusiasm. No, you're professional athletes. If it takes 50% of the season for you to all of a sudden get enthusiastic, then I don't know what to tell you, man. You're making $47 million and $40 million and $17 million and all these millions of dollars, and you need time. And for the young guys, I'm talking about the young guys. I'm not talking about LeBron. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Actually, I do know, but I'm trying to play positive as much as I can too. I can't do it. I can't do it. You're gonna have to show me. Don't tell me you're pregnant. Show me the baby.
Fair enough indeed.
That's a line from my mentor, John Chelesting, my broadcasting mentor. One of the best men I've ever known in my life, and that was one of his lines. And I'll throw it out every now and then. I'll get a lot of blank looks when I say it too, because it takes a minute for them to register it.
Once again, it is the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do lose 133 to 110. Rob, I know you got the pen out there. Did you take around some notes? Any last notes that you have on the game before we head on out, my friend? And also some last thoughts from Magic Man as well.
No. For some reason, I was just writing the number 34. I guess Shaq was stuck in my head. We could have used a Shaq to just do.
We are going to do. We're going to do an episode on Shaq, Lakers History 101, and you will join us. We'll schedule it out, Rob. You said you wanted to go ahead and be part of the faculty here at LFBU, and we are honored to have you join our esteemed faculty with Professors Joe Soro and Professor Magic Man Sean Grice. So I'm definitely looking forward to that conversation. Probably we'll have a class here early December. Will that work for you, my friend?
Yeah, just give me a little lead time, so I don't know. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, early December is, it's December 1 tomorrow, so
I know that means next week. So yes.
Summary. I mean, it's 20 games in, guys. I'm not freaking out. I'm sorry. You guys can go ahead and panic and holler fire and all of that stuff. I'm not doing it. It's a long season.
I mean, if you could look at it that way, Rob, because they were worse last year at this time.
You at some point, you may need JHS, as bad as that sound. At some point, you may need him to come in for 3 minutes or 4 minutes. So he's got to get used to playing some basketball, and you take your lumps. It's no shame losing to OKC on the road on the second night of the back-to-back. There's some good teams. Other guys get paid too. Other guys get professional players. They have their fans. These teams are not, they're going to bring it. So, hey, the Lakers lost a game. They didn't play well. Missed a lot of the guys. I mean, if LeBron James is playing like he's playing, at the level he's playing, if D'Lo's going to shoot over 40% for three, that's what we need him for. We're not expecting him to turn, into Jason Kidd on the defensive end. Just do what you do, D'Lo. Score the ball, don't turn it over, play smart, and be an offensive force. If D'Lo plays like that, if LeBron plays at his level, AD does what he does. When these other role guys get back, yes, the Lakers they'll get on the roll and they'll start piling up some wins. Joe will have to smile a little bit and give him a little credit. That day is coming.
Let's hope it does. Let's hope it does sooner.
Relax. Take it easy. Not get too down. That would be my advice.
Well, let's hope that day comes sooner than later, as the Lakers hopefully will get better sooner rather than later with all these players that are out of the lineup. I know both you and there were others in the chat room. The best Lakers chat rooms out there at the Lakers Fast Break were like avant traders that were trying to think the positive, and the fact that we did have several players out, and once we get them back in, the dynamic of the team will change. Magic Man, my friend, any last thoughts before we head on out, my friend?
Yes, Gerald. Interestingly enough, since you alluded to it, so I brought up the schedule from last year, and last year on November 30th, Gerald, the Los Angeles Lakers won. They beat the Portland Trailblazers. Do you know what the record was after 20 games, Gerald?
Led by Russell Westbrook, I don't remember. All I remember was having a headache constantly during that area of my life. I don't know why. Maybe it was, I don't know. Maybe it was Russell Westbrook related. But go ahead, my friend.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I regretfully remember that as well. 8-12. 8-12.
Like, try to black that period of my life out as best I can.
Yeah, just like instead of squeegeeing it, you just use a permanent black marker and just go over it.
The problem is, Magic Man, It's all on YouTube and on and Facebook. That's the problem.
So, Gerald, surprisingly enough, we thought that last year after they had beaten Portland, their next game was at Milwaukee. Do you remember that game? It was their best win of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we thought it might galvanize them forward, and it didn't. So I'm with Lee's bringing up some good points. Can't deny it. It's 11-9. You got half of your rotation out. You got a myriad of issues on top of it. Joe was half delirious, talking himself into a 11-9 start. I see issues. Really hope they get addressed. I'm with yourself and Joe. Think while some of them are solvable, some of them aren't. But I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, I'm tired of getting teased, though, Gerald. That's one thing I wanted to talk about is that before we leave, we keep hearing that, if it was a playoff game or playoff series, Vando would be ready to go. He's geared up. He could go. It's been 20 games, man. He hasn't stepped on the floor yet. I'm not buying that, Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining.
I promise I won't. Joe, however, I cannot vouch for. You might do it and just laugh at you.
Joe doesn't strike me as somebody who would do that.
I like the line, don't pee on my back and tell me it's raining, tough guy. That's a Jerky Boy line.
How would I have known that he would have liked that?
Oh, God rest his soul. Was it Alan Arkin was playing the gangster, the head of the head boss, and
That's the Jerky Boys movie, right? Yes.
I hope I'm him.
Not one of their actual gangs that they did.
I hope I'm him in 50 years with Little Miss
laughing.
Sunshine. With Little Miss
God.
Sunshine when he's in the home. I hope that's me.
I couldn't stop.
I cannot forget how bad that movie was roasted when it came
was
out.
so bad. It was good. That line has stuck with me for 20 years, and I can't get it out of my head. Anytime somebody mentions rain and tell me it's raining, like that's the first one that opens up.
Shocking.
Yeah. It's you always remember the laugh where you literally feel like you're choking to death. That's the laugh that I got when I first heard it. And of course, just like in wrestling, Gerald, the selling of the joke, always the true funny part about it is when the guy who's getting clowned sells it. If he sells it well, it makes it even funnier. So again, God rest his soul, Alan Arkin, man. I never thought he'd play a gangster ever in my life. It was too funny to do it, but man, that guy could do it. That guy did it for a short amount of time.
He was so good in Little Miss Sunshine. Absolutely. If you ever
Glenn Ross.
Plums of Beverly Hills too.
Don't show me
Excellent.
the pad.
Yes.
I don't want to see.
Yes.
I don't want to see the pad. Don't show me the pad.
Great memories indeed. Not tonight, however. It's
Do you know how many
133 to
women?
110.
Do you know how many women are in that retirement home? I'm not going to say what he said.
Yeah.
We'll get banned from YouTube if I said that.
I think there are much worse things on YouTube, Sean. Believe me.
Nah, I love Gerald too much to put him in danger that way.
Thank you, because all it takes is just the 3 of those little copyright strikes, and there you go. Once again, or some type of strikes that they find offensive, and there you go. 133 to 110. It is the Lakers getting pounced by the Thunder tonight at OKC. Next game coming up is Saturday night against Houston. Hopefully you'll join us. The host from Lakers Corner, John, is going to join us. Looking forward to that conversation. Still got to get the guys from the Domination Sports Nation in here. Still got to figure out when Dom and Chris Ardiero will come back here. Rob, you're always welcome back. It's been so great having you here. You come back anytime you want. You just text me. You let me know. I've got you on the text, so you just let me know when you are available. We'll set up an appointment for class here coming up next week, if that works for you. Definitely looking forward to it. We'll give you the highest sign. But any last thoughts, my friend, before we head on out?
Nah, another beat down, another day in Lakerland. On to the next one.
You know what? I love the fact that I have you in those promos when we do in the front or do on the opening and intro and outro, and got you so angry because I got you the day I think of the Boston. As far as after that, we got robbed on that one. You were just so pissed off. You were just like so pissed off. I could just see the steam. Joe was ranting. Magic Man was just gritting his teeth, and you were just like the steam was just coming out.
Losing to the Celtics will do that to you.
Yes,
we got some karma in the end, Lee, because Eric Lewis put in his retirement papers.
Once again, it is the Lakers fast break. It is a 133 to 110 loss. We'll be back tomorrow to decipher what happened one more time and also try to figure out what they can do on this homestand. Very important homestand because you've got the Houston Rockets coming up on Saturday and then the
Gerald, we also
NBA
have
Cup on Tuesday.
We also have a few days of rest here coming up because of this NBA Cup. You have a game on the 2nd, you have a game on the 5th, and then I believe the next game is the 12th.
Don't tell Ham that. He'll just play LeBron 45 minutes. What was the question you asked me the other day? When is he going to get to 70,000 minutes, or was it 80,000?
I think it was 70, but knowing how long LeBron might play till he's like 52, and he's one day longer than Gordie Howe, he might do it, Gerald. That's when he might get to 80,000.
Hell, the way Ham plays him, he'll be doing it like next month. Once again, it's the Lakers fast break. It is the Lakers losing 133 to 110, but we'll be back with more great coverage, more great conversation. We're here for you. Therapy, sure, we provide it always. Some great thoughts, great opinions, one way or the other. We're here to go ahead and share them. Our thoughts always right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Have a great evening, everyone. Stay safe. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Good night.